Hi friends, you're welcome to my channel. My name is Kenny Max. So your wedding is few weeks away and you cannot wait for that day to arrive while you walk down the aisle to get married to the love of your life. Family and friends are already calling you to congratulate you and you have your list checked out already. But then I have a very simple question for you. Have you taken out time to pray for this marriage you're about to walk into? Your wedding is actually for a day or maybe two, but then your marriage is for a lifetime. Have you actually thought about praying for this marriage? If you intend to have a successful marriage, you must consider prayer as a priority. So in this video, I'm going to be taking you through areas that you need to pray about before walking down the aisle. So come with me on this journey as I take you through it. Number one, the first area I will advise you as a couple to pray about is the area of your relationship. You see, things get intense and tough as the pressure goes up, and this usually happens towards the day of your wedding. So it's important that you pray about that relationship, because without that relationship, there will be no marriage. So there are times when things could happen and you feel so tensed up and you could say things that you're not supposed to say. At this time, there are so many things that are trying to get your attention, as well as the spiritual. There are so many things that will try to stop that marriage from coming into being, especially if it's something that God has ordained. So in order for you to ensure that your relationship is standing on the rock, standing on Christ, standing on the foundation of God, you must make sure that you pray for that relationship even before you walk down the aisle and it transcends into marriage. Because when that relationship is preserved, that is what will make it become the marriage that you want to enjoy. So pray for your relationship, pray for yourselves, that understanding, patience, peace, wisdom to handle the things that will come within this period will come upon you, so that you can handle things well and at the end of the day celebrate your marriage in a good way. So that's tip number one. Number two, the second area I would advise you to pray about is concerning your in-laws and relatives. This is your family generally, both from your husband's side or from the wife's side. You have to pray about your in-laws. You have to pray for your relatives. Just commit them to God's hands. Some of them will come from far distance to grace that occasion. You have to pray against accidents. You have to pray against any form of misunderstanding between family members. You have to pray that they will have a heart of love towards you. It's really important, because if you find yourself in a family where their love towards you is genuine, you will have peace of mind. Even though there will be hitches along the line due to one thing or the other that might be necessary, you'll find that when you find yourself in a good family, you will definitely have peace of mind. And even if you're really in immediate family, they are not close by, you find that that person who you got married to, their family becomes your family, and you find peace of mind when you're around them. So you have to pray for them. You have to pray that their hearts are filled with love towards you. You have to pray for their safety. You have to pray that they have all that they need and their needs will be met. You have to also pray that you will meet the requirements to settle the needs or the demands from the family. So you have to pray for them and just commit them into God's hands. It's really important, so that there won't be unnecessary arguments, unnecessary misunderstandings, and there will not be a room for the devil to actually play his role. So that's tip number two. Number three, now you have to pray for the wedding day itself. Pray about that wedding day. You see, the wedding day itself is a big day for you and you are looking forward to having a great time. However, for some people, this has been a day that caused them so much pain and hurt and disappointment. So you want to pray that there will be no disappointment on that day. You want to pray that the weather will be fair. You want to pray that the venue and the vendors are all up to task and doing well. You want to pray that everyone that will attend your wedding will come with a good heart towards you. And you want to pray, most importantly, that on that wedding day, while you take your marriage vows, that it will mark the beginning of a great marriage for you before God, because marriage is ordained by God. While you have the wedding celebration to yourself, understand that this is a covenant you're taking before God. So that marriage, that wedding day actually ushers you into the marriage, and you want to take that day as a special day and as a spiritual day that will usher you into the next phase of your life as a couple. So it's important that you pray about that day, that no evil seed will be sown into that day, and that no evil report will come concerning you or your partner or anyone around you that will be coming for that wedding that day. Some people have had issues where they encountered accidents. Some people had issues where they were disappointment at great levels. So any form of disappointment, you want to cancel it. Any form of negative reports, you want to cancel it. So it's important that you pray for your wedding day. So that's number 3. Number 4. Now this may seem unexpected, but then it's true. Pray for your friends, especially those on your bridal train list. Pray for your groomsmen. Why am I saying this? It's funny, right? Yes, you want to ensure that their hearts are ready for that day and that they have a positive mindset towards you that day. So many friends have turned out to be bitter towards their friends or their colleagues getting married, and some of them have actually showed rage and jealousy, and that's very, very bad. However, you want to pray and commit your friends into the hands of God, that God gives them a good heart towards you, and you want to also pray that they do not involve or get involved in any kind of misunderstandings that can change their hearts at that moment, because when they are disappointed, it will definitely show on their face. When they are angry, when they are bitter, when they've been annoyed by someone, it will definitely show in their reactions. They might not be angry towards you, but then you'll get to see it in your pictures and you will not like the outcome. One of the things that couples get to enjoy is when their friends have this positive aura and energy around them. You see that the couple themselves, they enjoy the moment when they walk down the aisle and they have, or when they go for the receptions and they have their friends cheering them on, singing for them. You see that energy is so positive and powerful. I experienced it and I'm really grateful, because you see, you get to understand that you enjoy the moment so much. It's all about you. And when your friends make you feel that that day is actually about you, it goes a long way to make you feel satisfied. Even if every other thing doesn't go well, when you have good friends that are supportive, that are there for you, that will go all out for you, and most of all, that will be a spiritual background for you, I can tell you definitely that you will enjoy that wedding. Also, if you have friends, if your friends are spiritually grounded, they can be spiritually sensitive to protect you from certain things that the enemy would have used against you. Number 5, so you have to pray for the gifts. You'll be receiving so many gifts and you'll be giving out so many souvenirs, but you have to pray on them. Pray on the gifts, pray on the souvenirs that you'll be giving out. Why do you have to pray? It may sound weird, but you see, many people have used this channel of gifts and souvenirs to sow seeds of discord into marriages. And it's funny how people share testimonies that in turn trace that back the source of their problems to years and years that have gone by in their marriages. Some of them received gifts that immediately they entered into that marriage, it became a source of torment to them. So you want to pray that you receive the right gifts. You receive gifts of honor, you receive gifts of favor, you receive good financial gifts. You want to pray that you receive gifts that will bless your lives. And any negative gift, you want to cancel them. You want to pray against them, that no one will bring negative gifts into your venue, because it's really important that you consecrate your gifts by the blood of Jesus. Yes, I have to say that you have to pray on this gift particularly. And for the souvenirs that you'll be giving out, you're praying that they will not be used as a source of evil against you, because people can be so wicked. The world is turning upside down and people have negative motives for coming even to the day of your celebration. So you have to pray on those souvenirs. You have to pray on the gifts and tell God to take over, and also pray to covet good, big, amazing gifts. It's important. It can come out as a miracle. Number 6, so you have to pray about your finance. One of the mistakes that people do when they're about to get married is that they take up debts, they take up loans that were totally unnecessary. The truth is, as a matter of fact, whatever you do or whatever the amount you use to carry out your wedding, the most important thing is that you got married to your partner that day. So try as much as possible to avoid debts. So you want to pray for your finance, for wisdom to be able to plan with your budget, for wisdom to be able to use the resources you have to enjoy that wedding day, for wisdom to be able to utilize what you have to make sure that you don't have unnecessary debts, burdens coming upon your head after the marriage. There are certain things that you might incur that might not be sorted out immediately, which could be on reasonable grounds, and that can be explainable. But unimaginable debts that you have to incur or bring upon yourself because you're trying to please someone, or because you're trying to show the world that you could hold elaborate weddings, it will not go a long way to help you, because at the end of the day, your marriage will suffer it. And one of the strains you want to avoid at the beginning of your marriage is the strain of debt. It could rob you of your peace, and your mind will definitely not be in a stable position to enjoy that marriage. So you have to pray that God helps you and gives you wisdom to manage your finance. And you also have to pray to receive financial gifts. There's nothing wrong in praying to receive financial gifts or expecting that you will receive financial gifts. One of the ways people bless people on their wedding days is through giving them finances. So you can get that as a prayer point, and then God will back it up with a miracle for you. So that's tip number 6. Number 7. So I remember I told you that you have to pray for your wedding day. And that's important because that day ushers you into the marriage. Now, tip number 7, you have to actually pray for your marriage. You want to pray that God helps you in your marriage. Even though you've not entered into it, you're about to enter into that marriage. You want to commit that marriage into God's hand and ask that God be the foundation of your marriage. You want to pray that God gives you wisdom to understand and love your spouse. You want to pray that God helps you as husband and wife to be able to build a home that will honor Him. One of the things that the devil will try to attack in your life is your marital life. And you might find that there might be peace. You might enjoy a very, very stress-free relationship, but when it comes to that marriage, the devil will try as much as possible to truncate it, especially when he knows that this is a seed that God has planted. So you have to ensure that you pray about that marriage and ask God to be the foundation, the center of that home. Because when your house is built on a rock, no matter the storm, no matter the rain, it will stand firm. And Jesus is that rock you want to build your marriage on, not on societal expectations, not on what you want to see tomorrow, not on your own baseless expectation or ideas, not even compared to what your parents had or what your friends are having. You want to root that marriage in Christ, and you want to just tell God to take over that home, because when you connect and commit your marriage to God's hands, He will definitely help you sail through. He would definitely give you wisdom on how to manage that home, and it will make your home a pillar for other homes to rise. So it's important. I can't emphasize on this enough. Don't just pray about the wedding. Don't just pray for the gifts. Don't just pray for other areas. This involves you now. Pray about that marriage, because it's about you and your partner, and it will determine the future of your children. So now, tip number 8. And this is my final tip for you. Please pray for your children. And I mean your unborn children. Or if you already have children before this marriage, pray that as you enter into this marriage, the children that God will bless you with in this marriage, or the children that you already have, that God will use this marriage to mold their destinies. That God will use this marriage to create a life of ease, a life of blessings, a life of impact for them and to those that they come in contact with. You also want to pray that God takes away every form of delay concerning your conception. One of the joys of being married is that you have your children after you go into that marriage. Now, there's a place for planning, and that's important, but there's no one that I believe that there's hardly anyone who will go into a marriage without wanting to have seeds of their own, especially when they are very young and very productive. So you want to pray that God gives you speed, and God helps you and blesses you and makes you fruitful, so that you can replenish the earth and multiply, and also be a blessing to the world, and make these children a source of impact to the world, and also bring glory to God. So it's important that you pray for these children before they even touch down on earth through your family. So now those are my tips for you, areas that you must pray about before you walk down the aisle. There are so many other areas, but I consider these areas really important, especially as you're about to say yes to your partner, in order to secure that marriage and ask God to take over, because there's nothing you commit into the hands of God that it's a waste of time. One thing I want you to know, no matter what you're planning, no matter how elaborate or how small your marriage will be, your wedding will be, one important thing that you have to know and understand is that God has to be the source of that home. God has to be the center of your marriage, because when it is based on God, every other thing falls in place. You might not understand it at the beginning, because there will be times where there will be hitches and all, but once there's a God factor in it, you will find that He will always find a way to pull you out and make you scale through. So those are my tips for you. Please engage in them and share with me your testimonies at the end of the day.